Hello friends, I welcome you all to my YouTube channel. In continuation to my previous video, where I have discussed the structure of the research paper, the different elements of the research paper, and how to read a research paper. So let's start today with another topic, which is research process. If you are a candidate aspiring to qualify NETSET examination, or whether you are preparing for your PhD interviews and all, this topic is going to help you. So this is the research process. It is just a snapshot which I have taken from the NETSET examination book from KVS Madan. And this is generally a very simple research process, which we all know that what is the step 1, what is the step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, 7, 8, so on. Okay, just remember whichever book you are referring to, whichever source you are referring to, the steps will ideally remain the same. It may differ from just, I'll say, a certain aspect may be different, but the process generally remains the same. So if I talk about how to start a research paper, as I yesterday told you that we should have a research problem in mind. Now, what is a research problem and how do we identify that? Okay, so that research problem is done by reading, okay, by discussing with your seniors, your friends, or maybe if you are daily observing certain things in and around you, you will come to know that there are various problems which can be addressed. Now, when I talk about various problems that can be addressed, it simply means which can be put up into a study. It should not happen the topic which you are selecting for your major project, such as PhD, which is going to last for a minimum of 3 years. You are selecting a question or you are selecting a research objective which can be also achieved through a single research paper. Okay, so first you understand the broad area to be covered. Now suppose I'll give you an example. If you are working in the area of public transport, now public transport in India is a big topic. Okay, we cannot cover each and every state, we cannot cover each and every city, which we cannot cover each and every district and so on. So you have to be very specific whenever you are proposing a research paper or whenever you are proposing a research topic. It has to be beautifully narrowed down. Okay, now suppose you are selecting public transport. Okay, then you come to a particular state, then we have public transport in Maharashtra, then you can narrow it down further to a city. And when I talk about Mumbai, we all know that a city like Mumbai thrives on public transport. We cannot do anything without our local trains or maybe the public bus. Okay, so now I have narrowed it down to public bus transportation. And in Mumbai, other than the private operators, BST bus services have a monopoly. Okay, so this is how I'm trying to be very specific. So identify. Now, suppose what is the problem with BST bus? Okay, maybe they have reliability issues. Maybe the frequency of the buses is not good, or maybe what is happening is the ridership has declined. Now when you identified one problem, you try to understand how this problem can be addressed. Now if I talk about there is decline in the ridership in the BST bus, there are purely, it can be because of few reasons, such as you have attractive modes of transport, or there is a certain section of the society which is now having a good income, or maybe they want to save their time and they don't want to extend their commute length by traveling in the bus, which is generally stops at each and every destination. Okay, so what happens is, to save their time, they have moved to another mode of transport, or maybe now there is new connectivity by the metro trains. So these are various reasons. So you identify, okay, try framing a research problem. Once you understand that this study has not been proposed by anyone else, you can take it up as a research gap and you try to frame it in a form which can be easily achieved through your research. Okay, now suppose I'll say you want to identify the various reasons for the decline in ridership of BST bus. Okay, so what you will do, definitely you try to frame an objective from this. And how we are going to prove this? Maybe you are going to go and talk to the people who are riding from many years in BST, or maybe you are trying to identify people who are not traveling and you can talk to them and understand. Okay, one of the major problem we can identify is people, as soon as their income increases, they want to have their own car. Okay, definitely we know we associate our value with certain materialistic things, and car ownership is one of them. or maybe post-COVID, people do not want to go into a place which is heavily crowded. And definitely we know local trains and public bus are always crowded. Okay, so these are the few reasons which you can try to be creative and understand that this is a research problem. We can have a research question from it, and then we can start our research. Okay, so let's understand that this is the general structure of the research paper. Again, if you refer different sources, you are going to get a different wordings or different explanation. But the basic structure, as I told you, the abstract, introduction, the main body, the literature review, discussion, and conclusion remains the same. So if you have not seen my previous video, please go and check that video, because when we study in continuity, we understand the different aspects. Okay, now this is the research process. First, remember, you identify a problem. So if you are in the process of starting a research paper, or maybe you're in the process of appearing for your any of the PhD interviews, then you should understand that whenever you are proposing a topic, you are making a research proposal, you should have a problem in mind. And that problem should be easily addressed. When I talk about easily addressed, it means it is feasible, it is workable, you will be able to manage that. Now we cannot say I want to reach to the moon sitting here. Okay, that becomes a very big problem. Okay, it is not also possible. Okay, so something which is workable, which is feasible. So your problem should be identified very beautifully, which you could be able to solve. Okay, ऐसी प्रॉब्लम को हमने नहीं पुट अप करना है जिसको हम डेटा से कलेक्ट नहीं कर पाते, जिससे हमें डेटा सोर्सेज नहीं मिलेंगे. Now, suppose your study is on understanding some confidential reports of any particular corporate. Now, none of the corporate is going to give their private or confidential data. So you understand, before you propose the topic, you should go and meet such people who will be able to help in your research. Sometimes what happens is, out of excitement or out of doing something new or novelty, what we do is we just propose the topic and then we are selected, but at the end we are not able to get the data. So then you will only suffer. Okay, so first we start with define the problem. Now, why this problem plays an important role? Because if you study the research process, any research starts with a problem in mind, a question in mind, which should be answered, and it ends with a question. Now, every good research scholar, every good researcher will end the project or end the research paper with another problem, okay, which can be addressed by the future scholars. When you read the paper, as I told you in my previous video, there are certain areas which becomes a limitation of that study and which is given by the researcher that it can be done by future studies. Okay, so that is how we try to find out the research question. So a good research paper tries to address a specific research question. Okay, whenever you are starting for the first time and you have limited resources and limited time with you, it's better to stick to one research objective, one research question. Try to understand the problem, the research gap, try to frame into a question, and then try to convert into an objective which is feasible, which can be measured or which can be addressed through your research, and finally into statistical analysis. The research question or the study objective. So this research question finally is converted into a research objective, or maybe later on into hypothesis, is the central organizing principle of the paper. So your research starts from this only. Generally, you should try to address only one research question. Okay, there are secondary research questions, sub-objectives, but at the initial stage, I'll suggest you start with only one main research question. The more clarity your research objective, the more clear your research problem, trust me, your paper and your research will be excellent. Okay, see, I have taken this source. Under research or whatever you are presenting, if you are presenting someone else's work, it's always better to acknowledge, okay, the source or the people involved in, because we don't want to enter into a stage where we are sharing others' content and not giving them due acknowledgement. This is also part of our research ethics, and definitely questions in NetSet have been asked on this also. Okay, so now what do I define? What is a good research question? When I'm working, definitely I feel I am the best. Okay, so who is going to help me? So just understand the key attributes. Is your research question specific? Now, suppose I want to ask people which is the favorite mode of travel in Mumbai. Okay, so if I'm giving them options, then I should try to cover all the options because it becomes specific. Or if I'm giving them an open-ended question, then you're going to get different answers. So understand what you want to know and what you want. So be specific, never be vague. I'll give you an example. When I'm teaching principles of management or maybe business environment to my students, the book has so many questions on business environment. If I don't give the specific question to my student, the student may take a get the freedom to answer whatever he wants, then I am supposed to. So better I give the question in such a manner that you get the correct answer. Okay, define internal business environment or external, or give examples. If I just write the question, give the question as define what is business environment, and whatever you know about it, it becomes a vague question. So it should be specific, original or novel. Now, what is originality? Whenever we do study, we think this is study is done the first time. Try to address it from a different angle. Now, if I talk about migration, it can be studied under commerce. From another discipline, economics, people can study migration. Now, somebody is doing studies post-COVID. Okay, what is the situation of migration? During COVID, we have seen people were walking. Okay, they did not have any access to transport also. They were just walking long hours to reach to the destination. Okay, they were not having jobs. So such areas which were not addressed earlier can be proposed now. So it should be something original, something you could give a value addition to the existing literature. It should be general relevance to a broad scientific community. Now, suppose I'm from commerce. So what addition or what specific thing it can contribute to commerce? Now, I'll give you an example. If I'm talking about transport, it can be addressed on so many disciplines. Transport people can study, geography people can study. Okay. Now, suppose if I'm talking about a hilly region, do you think buses are very easy to drive on, or cars are very easy to be driven on the hilly areas? Okay. So such questions, if we have never been done, you can propose that. Okay. Understand what can work and what will not work. The research question should be precise. It should be very specific, and it is not just a general area of inquiry. I'm trying to address only one problem, okay? And it is very specific. You read the question, you understand. If you are framing the question, you are only not understanding, okay, be specific. Tomorrow, 100 questions can be asked. It was addressed in which region? Why you asked? Why you proposed this study? Okay, and what it is not covering. Now, when I talk about metro trains, they are public-private partnership. So can we address it from different angle? Okay, so be specific. A study does not necessarily have to be break completely new ground, but should extend previous one. So it is not necessary that your study is very novel or very original. Okay, but definitely we are trying to extend the existing knowledge. Okay, we are giving something valuable. Okay, a research done in an overworked area will produce no better results. Though you may get a degree, but what happens after some time, nobody is going to trust your work. Okay, so better whatever you are trying to do, give it a different angle, which is going to help contribute to the existing literature. Okay, or alternately refute the existing knowledge. Now, what is refute? Now, there are contrary studies. Okay, suppose Mr. A has given this conclusion in his study that online teaching is only most preferable. And maybe there is Mr. B, he says online education is very difficult and we should focus only on. So what you can do, you can propose a study, comparative study, and you are trying to refute. Okay, you will tell what is the middle way, or maybe you are proposing a study which mentions that blended learning is the best method of teaching. Okay, so you can give a better solution when there were contrary studies available. Okay, finally, the question should be of interest to others who work in the same scientific. So definitely, if you are only reading your project and if you only think it is important for you, then trust me, it is not going to work. Okay, so whatever you do, just remember, before you propose any study, you identify the problem. हम सब अपनी लाइफ में प्रॉब्लम नहीं चाहते, बट रिसर्च में हमको क्या जरूरी है, हम ऐसे एंगल से देखें जहां से हमको प्रॉब्लम दिखे, और वो प्रॉब्लम ऐसी हो कि हम उसका कुछ अच्छा सा सॉल्यूशन दे सके. ओके, so that's all for now. So if you have not watched my previous videos, kindly go to my this link and you can even check that. Okay, and आप सबको अभी पता है थोड़े दिनों में अगर PhD इंटरव्यू स्टार्ट हो जाएंगे, या आप टीचिंग में या आपकी प्रमोशन ड्यू है, सॉरी, तो आपको रिसर्च क्वेश्चंस से स्टार्ट करके रिसर्च प्रॉब्लम तक अपना रिसर्च पेपर लेके ही जाना है. Okay, I'll be discussing each and every topic in detail. So stay tuned to my channel. And if you are liking my videos, please share and subscribe to my channel. फिर मैं मिलती हूँ आपके साथ नेक्स्ट वीडियो में. Till then, stay happy. All the best.